I did the thing. You're totally right. Oh, man. Okay, let's try one more time.
Okay. Welcome to Big Things. I'm Mitzi. This is Mike.
And this is our show where we talk about the big things we're seeing in marketing, pop culture, social media, and sports. We also talk about the signals we're watching and how they could inform the future of digital marketing. Make sure you catch the show on YouTube or anywhere you get your podcasts, and slide into our DMs on Instagram. Let us know what you like, what you want to hear more of, and just like how you're feeling today.
Totally. Tell us how you're feeling, especially about my long straw. I do.
You know how I
apologize.
feel about your long straw.
I know.
I'm a sipper, not a straw guy.
I know you've never been into a straw. Even when we go out for a drink or something, if you get a straw in your drink, you're like immediately out of here.
You can take this with you.
Mm-hmm. I like straws.
Ever since that one movie with it wasn't actually because of this movie, but that emphasized it. The one with Ryan Gosling and
Steve Carell.
Steve Carell. I was going to say Michael
What
Scott.
movie was what was it called? Emma Stone.
That's what it was called?
No, Emma Stone's in it. Ryan Gosling, Steve Carell.
Drew, help us out here. It's where like Ryan Gosling
she's
is
the man, but
is
not
a ladies' man, and he's like coaching Steve Carell.
Yes.
Is Tina Fey in it?
No. Oh, no, it wasn't 40-Year-Old Virgin.
No, it wasn't.
Don't they switch bodies? It's like Freaky Friday, except like Ryan Gosling goes into Steve Carell's body.
That's going to drive me nuts.
I know.
Are you
If
looking it up
only
right now?
we had the internet. Yes, I'm looking it up. Ryan. I'm sure people who are listening are just this kind of stuff drives me crazy when I'm listening to a podcast and they're like, what's that word? Or what was that show? And I'm like, it was this. Like, I know exactly. Crazy,
There you
stupid
go.
love. Yeah, we just needed to.
I wasn't going to come up with that.
No.
So thank you, Drew.
Glad we resolved that.
Art
That was
director.
what inspired you to never use a straw.
No, I already didn't like straws, but that one just kind of, because of the comic element of that, I was just like, even more so.
Right. I can't drink iced coffee without a straw. It doesn't feel right.
It feels great. Especially with ice. You just sip that. It's like fresh.
That's why I was really upset when Starbucks has their new cups for their iced coffees.
You were really upset.
I'm not. No, I wasn't really upset.
Slightly disappointed.
There is a demo of people who get really upset at Starbucks, and I'm not in that demo. But I was disappointed, mildly disappointed. with
Mildly
Starbucks.
inconvenienced.
There you go.
Yeah.
If I truly was upset, I would bring a straw with me where I go. There are people who do
Which
that.
I wouldn't be surprised if you did that.
You know what? You're right.
Because
Maybe
you
I
have
should.
a lot of straws at home.
I don't have
You got
enough.
options. You got stainless steel. You got plastic. I guess that's it.
Maybe I'll add it to my Christmas wish list, like a little portable straw, the ones that come in
Quick,
a little
add
package.
it to the gift guide.
Well, I don't know if it's on trend. It's just like a me thing.
Got it.
Anyways, we're not here to talk about straws. We're here to talk about other big things that are happening in the world of marketing, social media, entertainment, and sports.
Yeah.
Right?
And today, a quick summary of what we're going to cover. We're talking Grammy nominations. We're talking Sweetgreen's controversy. And we're talking Scan Club gift guide, which is fun because I think it was an idea we came up with on this show a few episodes ago. Was it?
Yeah, we definitely voluntold Morgan and Alyssa to do it because we started talking about it on
And then they made
Big
it way
Things.
better than I could have ever expected.
100%, like they usually do.
Yeah. So stay tuned for thing 3. We're going to get into it.
Yeah, I think we should get into Grammys.
Let's go.
So the Grammy nominations are out. Beyoncé leads the pack with 11 nominations, extending her career total to a record-breaking 99 nominations, which is crazy. Behind her are Billie Eilish, Post Malone, Kendrick Lamar, as well as Charli XCX, who gets her first big score with Brat, her big album of the year.
99 for Beyonce is crazy.
I know, it's crazy work. These 4 artists received 7 nominations apiece, and then 6 nominations went to Taylor Swift, who has had, in terms of Grammy noms, a relatively quiet year, but in terms of cultural significance, a relatively big year. And then Sabrina Carpenter and Chappell Roan also got 6 nominations each, which is pretty cool to see. So I wanted to kind of unpack a few of the bigger categories. The first one being Record of the Year. So I'll read the nominations, and then you tell me who you think should win it.
Oh, I'm on deck. All right, let's go.
Okay, Record of the Year nominations are The Beatles, Now and Then, Beyonce, Texas Hold'em. Billie Eilish, Birds of a Feather. Do you know what that song is?
Billie Eilish? Yeah.
Okay. Chapel Roan, Good Luck Babe. Do you know that song? Okay. Charlie XCX, 360. Do you know that song? Kendrick Lamar, Not Like Us. Do you know that one?
Yes.
Sabrina Carpenter, Espresso. And Taylor Swift featuring
Who's
Post
Sabrina
Malone.
Carpenter?
Taylor Swift
I'm just kidding.
featuring Post Malone, Fortnite.
Let's go, Posty. No, I would say for this category, record of the year. Can you remind me what record of the year means?
Right.
That's
so,
not the whole album. That's a song.
No, it's basically a single, but I was looking this up because it's kind of confusing. There's a category for record of the year, and then there's also song of the year, which is different. And then there's also best pop solo performance, which is also different, although
That makes
some of
sense.
them are the same.
But can you tell us the difference between record of the year and song of the year?
So record of the year includes like production, like the sound engineering, the like extra
I
stuff,
understand.
like the stuff that happens in the recording booth.
The elements, the
Right.
layers.
And then song of the year kind of like captures like the impact of that song on the culture. Like
It's
what
at
was
face
the
value.
What was the bop, the bop that was like you couldn't escape.
Right.
Includes like commercial impact, things like that.
Okay.
As far as I understand it. If there's anyone who's like on the Grammy nomination committee who's listening,
I'm going to give this one to Billie Eilish.
Birds of a Feather.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love Beyonce to win just because
We all know you would.
I know. But I do actually feel like I think it'll either go to Billie Eilish because that song was literally everywhere,
Yeah.
or Sabrina Carpenter, Espresso. Like I feel like
I
that,
could see her getting song of the year more than record of the year. I just feel like Billie Eilish is more of, and her whole team and the whole production of her music is more of a unit than Sabrina Carpenter. I feel like at face value, Sabrina Carpenter's music is so popular and enjoyable. But from my limited experience, I'm not an expert here, but I think Billie Eilish takes record of the year.
Okay, let's move on to Song of the Year because we're talking about it anyways. So nominees for Song of the Year are Beyonce's Texas Hold'em, Billie Eilish, Birds of a Feather, Chapel Roan, Good Luck Babe, Kendrick Lamar, Not Like Us, Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars, Die With a Smile, Sabrina Carpenter, Please, 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 Shabuzi, A Bar Song, and Taylor Swift featuring Post Malone, Fortnite.
Shabuzi takes song of the year.
You think so?
Yes,
Why?
because the kids love it.
Actually, yeah, that was so interesting to me. The kids actually do love that song.
Yeah.
People are comparing it to Kids Bop, which I took offense to because I'm a big Kids Bop fan.
Why would you take offense to that? Shabuzi's amazing.
No, Shabuzi is amazing, but like I feel like he shouldn't be compared to Kids Bop.
So you took offense on behalf of Shabuzi?
Yeah.
Because Kid Bops is just covering popular songs. Like
Totally.
they're not like doing their own music.
With a spin. They
Right.
changed the lyrics.
Right. They're both their own thing. I think it's only compared to Kid Bops in the sense that kids like his music,
It's a Kid Bop.
which is so funny because he's talking about like
Drinking.
alcohol and being at the bar and stuff like that.
I
But it's
know.
just such an approachable vibe.
It's a great song. It's
Yeah.
such a bop. Okay, so Song of the Year, you're going with Shabuzi?
I'm going with it.
Okay.
What are you going with? You want Beyonce to win?
I mean, you know what? Beyonce doesn't need Song of the Year, so if she doesn't win, I'm okay with it. I would love Sabrina Carpenter to get it because I feel like her songs are just everywhere. Please, 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 Espresso, both of them. They live in my head rent free.
And since you brought up Kendrick Lamar again too for this category, I feel like he might get record of the year. Just to backtrack a little bit, I feel like the Grammys just love to give Kendrick awards.
But also, I
accolades.
feel like that song just like hit so many like demos. Like it kind of like I think
It's like a
didn't-
West Coast anthem.
for sure. And I think I live in like a pop stratosphere, but for
Yeah.
everyone else who's not in that stratosphere, it was everywhere. Like I feel like it was played everywhere. It was so culturally relevant.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, the thing is though, I think if he gets it, then Drake should get a credit.
no.
Yeah, like if it
Stop.
wasn't for their beef, he wouldn't be nominated for all these awards because it wouldn't have hit as many streams and listens and things
But
like
you
that.
can't because like then you could with that rationale you could say anyone who's inspired song should also get credit.
No, because it's an active beef. Like the reason it got as much airtime as it did was because of his beef with Drake.
Well, Beyonce, who was nominated for Texas Hold'em, and her whole album, her whole country album, is a direct response to the beef she has with the country music industry.
Yeah, but the country music industry doesn't have the influence of Drake.
Those are fighting words.
Sure. Come at me, Country Music Association.
I don't agree with
fans.
that at all, but you can hold that opinion if you want.
Well, the stats don't lie.
Okay, well, I still don't agree. Let's move on to
And
album
many
of the
won't.
year.
I'm just saying it how it is.
Okay, album of the year nominations are Andre 3000, which I didn't even know he had a new album out, but it's called New Blue Sun. Beyonce, Cowboy Carter. Billie Eilish, Hit Me Hard and Soft. Chappell Roan, The Rise and Fall of the Midwest Princess. Charlie XCX, Brat. Jacob Collier,
Don't know who that is.
don't know. And I apologize to this man because I don't know how to say his album either. Sabrina Carpenter, Short and Sweet. And Taylor Swift, The Tortured Poets Department.
Drew,
So-
do you know who Jacob Collier is? Morgan? Oliver?
He's like jazz fusion.
Ooh,
Jazz fusion.
jazz.
Now we're talking.
Okay, maybe he should win.
Let's pick him. I think his album would be Jesse Volume 4.
Jesse.
Wow. Yeah. Interesting.
I mean, obviously, the correct answer is Beyonce, Cowboy Carter. Here's why.
Okay.
Beyonce is the most nominated artist of all time in Grammy history.
Yeah.
She's the most awarded artist of all time in Grammy history. And she has never won Album of the Year. And she's had incredible albums. Do I think this is the best album she's ever made? No. But I think she deserves this award because it doesn't make sense for her to be such an awarded artist and not have that award. You know, it just kind of like contradicts it.
I understand what you're saying, but I think for that very reason, she won't get it for this album. Because, they're not giving artists awards because they deserve it in general.
No, I know, but this album was just really good. Like,
Yeah, it'll probably win Country Music Album of the Year, whatever that category is. I don't know what it is, but just we were talking about this with our creative director Alyssa, and she was saying that people are speculating that she'll get whatever the country music category is from the Grammys as a slight to the CMAs, because the CMAs don't really like her.
yeah, I know people are speculating that, but I still feel like she's going to win it.
You really think so?
I do.
You want to make a bet?
No.
Okay. I thought you'd do it for the show, but I guess not.
Okay, yeah, I can bet for the show.
I don't think she's going to win it. You think she is. I don't think Andre 3000 is going to win it. I think it could be Billie Eilish. I actually want Chappell Roan to win it. Because it's like such nostalgic, like kind of 80s elements to it. It's just so fun. When we had our karaoke night at the gathering in Banff recently, and I forget which song you guys sang, but it was
Hot to Go.
Hot to Go. Yeah, it's so fun. I just feel like every song is a bop.
Yeah, Chappell Roan is
And
so
it's-
cool.
Yeah, and it's like scratching an itch that other artists aren't scratching right now.
I think she should win Best New Artist, but I don't think she should win Album of the Year.
No?
No.
Why not? Aside from you thinking Beyonce.
Well,
should.
I think she's amazing. Like, it's hard to argue this because like both are incredible in their own way. You know, not one is not better than the other necessarily, but I think who should be awarded as this time in history of music, who should get the award for Album of the Year? Like, I just think it makes sense for it to be Beyonce's country album.
If it wasn't Beyonce, who would you pick from this list? Not Chappell Roan? Or is that your second
Well,
pick?
I don't know because I only know a few Chappell Roan songs.
Charlie XCX was obviously a huge wave this summer.
For sure. I want to say Sabrina Carpenter.
Yeah?
Yeah, because she has so many songs on that album that were actually so good. And she has such a good brand. It's
Right.
full, it's complete, it's distinct. It's I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't think she's gonna win Best New Artist because she's got
No.
a few albums under her belt already. So maybe you're right. Maybe it ends up being Chaperone gets Best New Artist, and someone like Sabrina Carpenter takes Album of the Year.
No,
'Cause
you
this
mean
is kind of
someone like Beyonce gets album of the year?
no,
Because
I
that's
don't.
what I'm saying.
It's not gonna happen.
Okay, well, let's move on to Best New Artist then.
Okay,
We have Benson Boone, Doechii. Don't know who that is.
there's a lot of
Chappell
hard to pronounce
Brown,
ones here.
Ray, Sabrina Carpenter, Shabuzi, and Teddy Swims. I actually do really like Ray. I think she's super cool. She's like a jazzy singer. Some people are comparing her to like Amy Winehouse, but I don't really think they're similar. Like maybe similar in terms of like style of singing, like both incredible vocalists, really cool like jazzy vibes, and they're different. She's awesome. I feel like she's all over my TikTok. I really like her. So I'd be very happy to see her win. I'd be very happy to see Shabuzi win. Be happy to see Chappell Roan win. Like these are all incredible
Who's your pick
artists.
of who's gonna win though?
Chappell Roan.
Okay. Yeah, it's hard for me to speak to Best New Artist because half of these I don't know. That I'm not familiar with their game. But if I was to just pick one from the list, it would be Chappell Roan.
Let's talk about Best Solo Pop Performance. Now this is based on like the soloist, the singer, their performance in this song. Okay, so it's different than
Like in the
Record of the year.
recorded song
Exactly.
or like live performance.
Not live performance. Their performance in the recorded song. So nominees are Beyonce for Bodyguard, Billie Eilish for Birds of a Feather, Chappell Roan for Good Luck Babe, Charlie XCX for Apple, and Sabrina Carpenter for Espresso.
Espresso.
Really?
Yeah.
I actually think Billie Eilish is going to win this one.
I could see that as well.
But you know who I want to win.
I know. It's the same in every category.
Okay, let's talk about rap. I pulled this one in because when we first met,
Because rap is part of our history.
yeah, we were both really into rap. The older we get, the more we disassociate from rap. Like I just don't know rap anymore.
Yeah, we don't really vibe with the new wave of rap, and a lot of the older rap artists are kind of whack or like are losing it a little bit, like Yeezy.
Yeah, or like getting canceled.
Yeah.
So I just thought it'd be fun for the show to talk about the nominees. So best rap song, nominees are Future, Metro Boomin, and Kendrick Lamar for Like That. Glorilla for Yeah Glow. Kendrick Lamar for Not Like Us. Rhapsody and Hit Boy for Asteroids. Ye, Kanye West, which is the same person. Ty Dolla Sign and Rich the Kid featuring Playboy Cardi, Carnival. I mean, the only song I know in this list is Not Like Us. So that would be my pick.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Not Like Us. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't think the others can really compete. Like, Not Like Us is a better song than Like That, which is also Kendrick Lamar with Future and Metro. So I think Not Like Us would win between the two. I don't think Glorilla, Rhapsody, or Ye and Ty Dolla Sign can compete with Not Like Us. I think it's going to
Not
be a
Like Us.
sweep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's fine. The other notable, like, I guess, news about the Grammy nominations, we've already kind of touched on it, is that Beyonce is nominated for a few country categories this year.
Right.
She was nominated for Best Country Song and Best Country Album, which is a pretty big deal because the CMAs, as we know, snubbed her entirely. She wasn't nominated for anything for the Country Music Awards. So I think the fact that she's nominated in those categories is a direct like response to that.
Mm-hmm. And she'll probably win them both.
Yeah, I hope she does.
Yeah.
As we know.
She can have them.
She can have it. She honestly doesn't need any more Grammys, but I'm okay with her getting more.
I hope Shabuzi gets a couple.
I know.
It's
I do
just so
really
easy
like
to listen
Shabuzi.
to. And I like his take.
I also really like that he came to the Calgary Stampede this year.
Yeah.
That was really cool of him.
Yeah.
Apparently
I
he's-
couldn't stand in line as long as would be required to attend,
We're
but
way too old for
I
that.
respected that he was present.
He also apparently sang the bar song like 5 times in a row.
Really?
And I actually like when artists do that. Like I like when they like, you know, you're going to see an artist that you love, you want them to play their hits. and like once sometimes isn't enough.
Was it actually 5 times in a row?
I think so. I don't know for sure. It was like 5 or 6.
Crazy.
Yeah. And
It's just
the
like-
crowd loved it. Like they ate
Everyone
it
was
up.
so into it that it's over, and then he's like, "Should we just do this again?" And he just does that a few times, and
He doesn't
everyone's
say
like,
it in
"Yeah,
those
let's do
words.
it."
He doesn't say it in those words, but he's like, one more time. Remember when we went to see Maluma
Yeah,
and he opened with his hit and then closed with his
that's
hit?
way different than doing the same song 5 times in a row.
Maybe. But one time I went to see Watch the Throne and they did N-Word in
Speaking
Paris.
of your rap history,
Right. They did that song. They did it like 4 times.
in
And
a
no
row.
one was mad. It's like if you're going to a show to see an artist that you love and they play their like banger back to back, I'm not mad about it. Because sometimes I'll go to a show and I'm like, yes, like I'm so happy they're doing this song. And then it's over.
Right.
You just want to exist in that space for a little bit longer.
I'm just trying to see in my mind's eye what it would be like to repeat it 5 times. Like repeating it once makes sense. And is there any conversation with the crowd about it? Or it's
Sometimes.
just like run it back, run it back, run it back,
Yeah.
run it back, over
One
and over
more
again.
time. Like you're just in the zone.
And like, are they stopping and starting, or are they just like going back into the chorus over and over again? I don't know. I just can't picture it.
I don't know the logistics, but from what I've seen, it's a crowd pleaser.
Got it.
But yeah, I think it's really fun to see like who's being nominated. I'm excited to like see the red carpet for this because I feel like the Grammys red carpet like is a little more creative. There's a bit more like creative flair to it, so it should be a good night.
And it should be a good night tonight when we pick up our kids from daycare and we play Shibuzi on the way home.
It's so funny to me that kids love that song so much. I don't know. I feel like we were just talking about the youth and like what they're into. The other thing I've seen a lot of like kids get really like the song they get really behind is that Keisha Cole song.
Wait.
Yeah.
Keisha Cole?
They love that song. It's like, I'm not going to sing it on the show.
Sing it for us.
No, I can't. It's a really good song, but it's an old song, but they go so hard for it. I actually saw a TikTok at like a middle school. There's a DJ that played that song and they were just like feeling the lyrics. And I'm like, what do you know about love? Like these are middle school kids.
Love is the thickest in middle school.
Maybe.
It's the deepest.
Yeah. And it is quite an emotional song. So maybe they just feel that.
Feel that. Feel it, kids.
The other cool thing about the Grammy nominations this year is that Post Malone was nominated in the country album category, which is really
Maybe
cool.
he'll beat Beyonce.
I know. I did think about that, and I actually feel like that would be cool because his album is really good, and he has a lot of like country legends on it, which Beyonce did too. But I've heard the country folks really like that album.
I feel like I've enjoyed every era of Post Malone, but I think there's something about his country era that he's in right now. He just seems so happy to be in it, and it seems to just fit him so nicely. And I even like his current steez, like what he's wearing and how he's like putting himself together as like country posty.
Yeah, it's funny because when I listen to his country music, it feels natural.
Yeah.
And like then it's weird to listen to his other stuff, and that was like, why did you do that even? But I guess
Different
it
phases
served
of
a
life.
purpose. Yeah. But I'm very happy for Post Malone. I'd love to see him get nominated.
Yeah, he's
and do
onto
his
something
thing.
with this.
Speaking of country,
Did he get snubbed by the CMAs too? Or did he get anything?
unsure.
Yeah, okay.
But speaking of country, we started watching Yellowstone again.
Yeah. New episode.
So Yellowstone.
And what are you trying to say about that?
I don't know. Like
You just need the opportunity to criticize it a little bit.
Yeah, I do.
That's what it is.
I do. So Yellowstone, like you've watched every episode. I have not. I like joined you halfway through.
Fall asleep sometimes.
Yeah, but I'm caught up and we watched the newest episode, which like is a whole new like era for the show because they stopped production midway through the season because Kevin and Costner didn't want to return to set. And so they literally took like a year off. And then now they're back with the second half of this last season, and Kevin Costner isn't in it.
Which is a bummer.
Yeah, because he's like made the show.
And when we started the new episode, I was so confused. I felt like I had
know.
missed something. And then I wondered if I hadn't seen all the episodes from the first half of the season. So we actually went back and watched the last episode. And then we're like, okay, yeah, we do remember all this
Yeah.
stuff. So it's kind of like a jolty entrance into the newest episode. And then obviously, well, I don't want to give away spoilers, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's just, it wasn't really the same. It felt like a pivot.
Yeah. You know what? I was looking online. A lot of people were saying the same thing, but it's because they did this it's like they were in present day and then they said 6 weeks earlier. So they took you 6 weeks earlier, but then they forgot to bring you back and say it was back in the present
Right.
day. So I feel like that was a them problem. Like they made us confused.
Yeah, it felt like they had a problem to solve and they like kind of scrambled to solve it.
Yeah, and it was just kind of cringy to watch. It was like if you're like, because I've criticized acting in the past, and if you need an example of like what I mean by like cringy acting, and like I had the heebie-jeebies, this was the prime example. Like I could not with Beth.
She's a lot.
Beth was out of
The
control.
one holding it all together for me right now is Rip, though.
Rip.
He's my
I love
dude.
him.
Yeah,
I loved him in this episode too. Like
Yeah.
he was exactly what we needed from Rip.
yeah. Well, good new TV is Silo.
Right.
Watched season 2, episode 1 last night.
Which is very spooky. I half watched it, half was on my phone.
Why?
Because I was tense.
It's not really a second screen kind of show, though. You kind of need to give it your attention. You just needed to escape a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be good. It's going to, I
Right.
feel like the way that season 1 ended and now we're coming into season 2, it's going to take a couple episodes to really like transition into this like next stage,
Yeah.
this next phase of the Silo universe.
I wonder if we need to do a segment on this show where we do recaps of episodes of Yellowstone and Silo.
Not Yellowstone.
What?
Yellowstone's past its prime.
It could be funny.
Just for you so you can make fun of it.
Well, I think it could be funny for other people to listen to.
I don't think so.
Okay, Silo then.
Sure.
What I'm trying to say is we should do a TV recap at the end of the episode. So then if people want to like listen to what we actually, because it's like hard to like dance around a show and not give it away. So maybe at the end of the episode, we could do like a more complete recap of what we think when giving away spoilers.
I think that would work for Silo because it comes out Thursday nights and we record on Fridays.
Yeah, the only thing is like Silo's not that popular.
Sure it is.
I don't think so.
More popular than Yellowstone, probably.
Really? I don't know about that.
Silo's on Apple TV Plus and Yellowstone's on Paramount.
I know they're really making it hard to watch this season.
Yeah.
Okay, well we can talk about it.
I had never thought you'd be the one to say we should add a segment to our podcast, but here we are.
Well, it's just like awkward to talk about a show without talking about it, you
Yeah.
know?
And we got to figure out how to do it without spoiling anything for people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next big thing.
All right. Thing 2, Market, a streetwear brand from New York, calls out Sweetgreens for stealing their idea. Sweetgreens, it's a restaurant salad chain. They launched merch in the form of a kale camo hoodie, along with a t-shirt, hat, and tote bag. And the launch, I think, was good in terms of. You want to talk
The
about it?
content. Yeah, I loved the launch content. They posted like a BTS of them making the camo, which now I know why. But I really liked the like launch content, and then I loved the shoot that they did. So one thing we actually tracked in Scan Club is we're noticing a lot of like cool brands. They're using older models in their campaigns, and that's what Sweetgreens did here. They had older people modeling their merch, but it looked so good. So I just wanted to make a note that their campaign content was really good.
They approached it well. But after the launch, to kind of spoil the nice release, Market, a clothing brand out of New York, like I mentioned, accused them of stealing their idea, and they even had the receipts to prove it. So they posted a carousel post announcing how they felt about this, but then sharing an email exchange between them and the founder of Sweetgreens and their creative director, sharing this brand collab idea, and they literally called it a Kale Camo Hoodie, and explained the concept and why they thought it would be cool. So maybe we can even pop up some screenshots of the carousel post on this as we're talking about it. But it is kind of damning, I think, that the founder was on the email thread. And then the other thing that they showed too was some of the mock-ups of what they wanted it to look like. And the mock-ups compared to the actual thing that Sweetgreens later launched with a different brand called Everybody World are strikingly similar.
Mm-hmm.
And even the fact that they did it as a brand collab with another apparel or like fashion brand is even more of a, I think, like a crappy thing to do.
Yeah. So in the screenshots they have with the founder, the founder of Sweetgreens requests a meeting. And then according to Market, they never heard back after that pitch. So it's not looking good for Sweetgreens. And they actually, in their post about Sweetgreens stealing their ideas, they also said, for a company that does almost $700 million in sales, you can afford to do the right thing and not steal our ideas without compensation.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I mean, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not that tricky. Maybe it's just like, yeah, this looks pretty obvious and it shouldn't have happened and it was a mistake on the part of Sweetgreens. The thing that also makes me feel like it likely was intentional and they just didn't feel like it was that big of a deal, or they don't have just like, they don't feel like it's an ethical thing at all, is that they've had issues in the past. In 2023, Chipotle actually filed a copyright infringement lawsuit against Sweetgreen over the addition of a Chipotle chicken burrito bowl to the Sweetgreen menu. So the lawsuit claims that Sweetgreen ignored a cease and desist from Chipotle's legal team, and essentially all that Chipotle was asking was that they make some minor name changes. So it wasn't that they needed to pull down the menu item, but more they wanted them to reframe it as a chicken bowl with Chipotle to make it clear that it wasn't a Chipotle menu item.
Yeah.
I also was looking on Reddit about this because we always got to go to Reddit when there's tea, right? And someone on Reddit mentioned that it's crazy for them to charge the cost of a Sweetgreen employee's full day's wages for a hoodie as a marketing ploy.
That one cuts deep.
Yeah.
That is deep. Yeah, like we empathize with this so much because like we're in the idea business. If you're creative or in marketing, like your most valuable asset is your ideas. So it really sucks to pitch something and give an idea away and not get compensated for it. Like that's terrible. And they clearly had the receipts to show that they concepted this whole campaign and shared it with them. And you know, hindsight's always 2020. Like, should they have shared this? Maybe not. Maybe they shouldn't have like briefed it out so much. And knowing that, you know, once you give it to someone, like they could take it. Like if they really wanted to hold on to it, they might not have, or maybe shouldn't have shared it. I think it's like, it's clear, like maybe Sweetgreens was planning to do this all along. Like there is a universe that could exist where you're thinking of the same idea at the same time. Like maybe they had already started working on this. And if that were the case, they should have disclosed that to Market, or they should have abandoned that campaign and just worked with Market instead. But yeah, this one, that sucks. I stand with Market.
Yeah. I think it shouldn't have to be the burden of the creative to withhold ideas so that they don't get stolen. I think there should just be either better ethics across the board across creative industries, or even regulation around some of those things, so that if creatives have receipts or evidence that this is their IP, that there should be measures that they can take to essentially discourage the stealing of ideas.
Right. I don't disagree with that. I think it's just like concepts are so hard to have ownership over. You know, like so much of what happens in marketing is inspired or borrowed from what someone else is doing, you know? So it's hard to say like, draw a line and say, no, that was theirs and this is yours, when it all kind of like comes the same place.
Yeah. And I mean, this isn't new. Like there's copyright, there's patents, there's trademarks for a reason. But most of the time you can get around a copyright or a trademark by just changing a concept by like 20%. I don't know what the actual percentage is, but so if Sweetgreen really cared about the fact that this idea or a very similar idea came from another entity that wanted to work with them, but they still wanted to run with the idea, they could have changed it a little bit more.
More,
Because they
yeah.
went with the exact same name, Kale Camo Hoodie. They used Kale. The mock-up or the actual product was strikingly similar to the concept or mock-up that Market provided. So they could have done a bit of a color change. They could have used a
Right.
different kind of lettuce. They could have called it something different, maybe focus less on the hoodie, maybe focus on a different piece of apparel. At least move the needle a little bit so it's not a blatant rip, you know?
Yes. Yeah, I
So
agree with that.
I think all evidence considered, it's just obvious that they didn't care that they were taking it.
Yeah, it's true. I think there's like so much responsibility on Sweetgreens or the person who is pitched. I've been in in the position where ideas are being pitched to me and they're similar to things I've already been thinking about. And as the person who's receiving this, like there's a lot of responsibility on you to be clear that like same thought is happening and just so like, you know, like we're moving that direction already. So it's hard. Like I empathize, but I do feel like Sweetgreen could have resolved this in a different way.
Reminds me of that book called Steal Like an Artist, which I think I agree with a lot of the principles in that book, where it's like nothing is new under the sun and you should draw inspiration from other places, but there's a difference. There's a clear line between drawing inspiration and adding your own creative
Yes.
license and filter to an idea than just taking an idea and like stamping it with your logo and calling it yours.
Totally. Yeah.
So
And then the other thing that reminded me too of that book by Rick Rubin, The Creative Act.
yeah.
Yes. And he says that an idea isn't yours unless you act on it. So if an idea comes to you and you don't do anything about it, it's not yours. It's like anyone can think of something.
right, but would you say that Market did something with it by presenting it to the brand?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Even though it didn't see the light of day.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. I think I'm less of a fan of Market now than I used to be, but I do remember pre-pandemic, like we're talking like 2018, 2019, they were a wave. They were called Chinatown Market at the time. And it's kind of ironic too, because their whole brand platform was like bootlegging high fashion brands. So in a way, I think they've ripped off other brands too, but in more of that drawing inspiration or taking creative license way than just dragging and dropping something onto their own t-shirts. Like they bootlegged Gucci and some other brands like that, but they made it their own. They used the logo, but then they put it into their own environment and used their own creativity. But what I liked about them most wasn't really their product at the time. It was how they were approaching things like social media and marketing and engaging their customers. I remember just trying to envision how we could learn things from them for some of our clients, because especially on Instagram, they had this like social media manager. I think his name was Waleed, and he was a super funny dude. His face was in a lot of the content, and he was always just having a good time with people that worked there, but also their customers. They also did some like gamification stuff, because a lot of they would like just kind of follow inspiration and customize t-shirts and things like that in the moment. So I remember sometimes being on their Instagram lives and they would pick random people from the audience to come on the live with them, and they'd have a variety of different like logos and patterns and imagery and different types of t-shirts. A lot of them were tie-dye and different like prints and patterns. And you could like, the person that got picked into their live could like pick different elements, and they'd make them a t-shirt or a hoodie on the live in the moment and then ship it to them. And stuff like that was so cool at the time. And so all of their stuff was lo-fi video, like none of it was high production.
Right.
So it all just kind of connected to the way they approached their brand in general, and they grew really fast. Later changed their name to Market instead of Chinatown Market because they kind of got called out for the appropriation side of that, which seemed like they made a good decision to do so. But here we are.
Yeah, I think it's kind of ironic that they're doing that. They're also so unbothered. Like I saw they posted this thing about Sweetgreen, and then their next post was like they could care less.
On to the next
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
So anyways, I don't know if there'll be a resolution. I'm curious what Sweetgreens, how they'll respond. They haven't posted in a few days. So I'm sure they're in like crisis
My guess
management
is they
mode.
just settle it behind the scenes and
Yeah,
they pay
move
market
on.
something for the idea.
Yeah, I'm sure lawyers are involved.
Yeah, but I think one of the reasons I thought it would be interesting to talk about this is I actually saw one of our good friends, Gary Williams from Creative Theory Agency, share about this too. And this happens in the agency space.
So much.
More on the RFP side, which we really try to avoid the RFP process as a digital agency. And for those that don't know, RFP stands for request for proposal, and a lot of bigger brands or more traditional industries require them in order to hire an agency for a campaign or a project or to be an agency of record. And usually it's sent out to anywhere from 5 to 20 agencies to submit a proposal, and they want creative ideas. They want a lot of detail. They want strategic thought and insight. So it takes a lot of agency resources to put together a proposal in an RFP process. And a lot of times in those contexts, ideas that are put forward in RFPs are then later used by some of these brands, even if they don't hire that agency. So he was talking about it a little bit, and I absolutely felt the same way. And that's a big reason that we avoid RFPs for the most part. But it's, again, an ethics topic and a topic of morality in industries that we work in. And it's something that needs to change.
I totally agree. RFPs are the worst.
Sheesh.
I hate them.
Yeah. I've learned from wiser people that have been in the agency space longer that the best way to stand out in an RFP process is to get the brand or entity that created the RFP to change the rules for you. So if they're like asking for a proposal by a certain date and they've given you all this information, an example of changing the rules would be requesting a meeting and then or requesting changes to what's required in the proposal. And if you're able to get them to make changes to their requirements or accommodate a meeting or whatever it is that you're asking, the likelihood of you winning that RFP against all the other agencies that just comply goes up significantly. And we've seen that work before on the few that we have participated in.
Yeah, it's such a grind.
Hot tip for any agencies or
No,
creatives
that is a
listening.
hot tip.
Yeah,
I love it. Well, should we move on to the next big thing?
let's do it.
Okay.
Save the best for last.
Best for last. That is right. Like we mentioned, we just released Scan Club's gift guide. And we literally came up with this idea on the show.
Yeah.
But we've officially released our first ever gift guide based on some of the signals and trends that we've been tracking all year long. Shout out to Morgan and Alyssa on our team who really put this whole thing together. They did an incredible job. It's really good. And just in case you're new here, in January, we released a trend report, and it was based on like some of the signals we were following around digital marketing and social media. So we took all of these learnings that we've been doing for a whole year and distilled them into 5 key trends. And these trends relate to like digital behaviors and how people are reacting to content and what people actually want from brands and social and content in 2024. So it's really cool to see how this is like extended beyond just like our work. And we work in social, we work in marketing, and the trends have been such a great guiding light for us all year long. But it's cool to see how like it can translate for even gifts. Because what people want and need right now from content also relates to what they're looking for in holiday gifts.
Yeah, for sure. And I like, so many gift guides are like for your dad or for your uncle that is into weird stuff, like things like that. But, and a lot of them are sponsored as well.
Totally.
Like brands pay to be part of gift guides. And we need to say that none of these are sponsored.
But they could be.
Yeah. I mean, this
free.
is just a jumping off point. If you're a brand and you want to be in our gift guide next year, let's figure it out.
Yeah, this is a business. We
But
gotta
I
keep
also
the
like
lights on.
the way that Morgan, I'm assuming, wrote these for the different types of personas that these gifts are for. One of them is for the underconsumption core friend.
That was a collaboration between some of our social team too.
Oh, nice. For the pal whose dopamine receptors are fried. We all have one of those.
Relatable.
For the friend who started the group chat, for the burnt out bestie, and for the friend who always has a new hobby, which we all have a few of those friends.
For sure. So we're going to walk through the gift guide suggestions and then also the trends that they relate to.
Come on, let's go.
Yeah. Do you want to start with the first one?
Yeah, so trend 1 is they want a whole new world. So The people that fit into this one, this giftie loves a brand pop-up. They couldn't wait for Eminem's concert in Fortnite. They're ready to engage with the world and other brands in new and in interesting ways. So some of the gift ideas that fell into this category, and there's many more that could fit here, but the ones that we wanted to highlight, Nintendo just recently put out Nintendo Music. So it's basically like a streaming subscription for Nintendo fans out there that allows you to listen to the music from your favorite games.
This is just like the score.
Yeah.
Can you not get that on Spotify?
There might be playlists, but I don't know. I'm sure there's also a connection to your behaviors on Nintendo games. So maybe if you subscribe to Nintendo Music as someone who has a Nintendo Switch or something like that,
Right.
it might like curate music for you based on the games you play. But Super Mario has iconic music.
Right.
Zelda has iconic music. There's a lot of games that have really interesting music on them. Noise canceling headphones can help you tune out the noise and get immersed in their favorite audio world. Custom retro viewer, which I had to Google what this was when I was reviewing the draft, but it's one of those things that you put up kind of like binoculars, and it's got the switch, and you can switch through different slides or like visuals, which I felt like was just like pure nostalgic escapism, if there's any good way to describe that. So it's a way, there's a custom one, so you can share precious memories in a unique nostalgia-fueled way. We should almost make one of those for the kids or something like that. I feel like that could be cool. And then mini brands. Many of us know what those are. I've got some in my office, actually. These little worlds are hugely popular with different age groups,
Including 35-year-olds.
including me.
Love it.
Now everyone knows my age. Thanks, Mitzi.
You're welcome.
I actually said something to a friend recently because I'm turning 35 in a few weeks. And I was like, it's kind of crazy to be halfway to 40. And they're like, I hate to break it to you, but you're halfway to 70. And
Oof.
that was a hurtful moment
That
for
was
me.
rude.
Yeah.
I am not okay with that because I'm older than you, so even more on my way.
Yes.
Okay, we'll talk through the next category here. This is regarding our trend around people want less stress and more rest. This is
I feel
probably all of us, to be honest. So these gifts are for the burned out bestie, the professional spiraler, and the generally overstimulated, aka us. These are gifts that bring comfort and familiarity, and these are something that can help people master their morning routine, a cozy night in, or a weekend cafe trip, which love to see that. So some suggestions here: fuzzy slippers. Who doesn't love a fuzzy slipper?
I have to just say, I'm pretty sure we have all of the things on this list.
And I'm still stressed.
You have fuzzy slippers. Well, I'll let you read through them first.
Okay, fuzzy slippers, beautiful shower head, which you can actually buy these and people can attach them to their existing shower heads or replace their existing shower heads.
Which we did when we moved into our place. We bought a rainfall shower head.
Yeah, and this adds an element of ritual to an otherwise bland morning routine. Red light mask, don't start with this one. This viral mask encourages downtime and clear skin. This is actually on my wish list this year.
You haven't given me a link, though.
Yeah. Well,
Should
you can
I
get
just
it.
use this link?
Just use that one.
This
That's
is the one you
I
want?
Yeah.
All right, bet.
For film light cameras, I love this one because you can get all the beauty of film photography without the learning curve, which is huge. Like, I think learning film photography has been on my goals like for the last 3 years, but it's so intimidating and it's also like expensive to get into. So this camera that we've linked in the gift guide, it is a digital camera, but it gives you that film feel without having like an app or anything. And the best part is it's not on your phone. So like if you're overstimulated or overly stressed like me, like doing something on your phone again is not relaxing because then you're trying to just like look at an app or edit a photo and you're getting a million notifications. So this is like completely separate and it's actually really affordable.
Yes.
So go check that out. And then also a magazine subscription. Again, analog, offline, reading material that's aesthetic enough to spot on the grid. So yeah, that's
I feel like I recently sent you a company that is getting back into print magazines, but I forget which brand it was.
That rings a bell and I forget too.
Probably in our Instagram DMs.
If you could subscribe to any magazine, which one would it be?
I don't know. I handful of Hype Beast magazines. We've got a few different magazines around the office. Kinfolk was a wave for a while. I don't know.
Mine would be Martha Stewart Living.
Wow.
I watched the Martha documentary and I am not the same. Justice for Martha. I love that woman.
Cool.
Cool.
I'm indifferent about her, but I respect her
You also
hustle.
didn't watch the documentary.
Yeah, and I don't really want to. But gotta respect the hustle.
Why don't you want to?
I don't really need to watch every documentary.
I know. You're not really a documentary person.
I like certain ones, but I'm not trying to watch them on the regular.
Okay.
Trend 3, they want close friends only, which I feel that. I think the older I get, the less I need a lot of friends, the more I just need a few that I can just have a good time with whenever I want. And they don't need all my attention. But these are busy online spaces. Oh. Okay, rewind that. They want close friends only. Busy online spaces and an algorithm-based economy just don't do it for this gifty. They're the ones starting the group chat, joining a run club, and inviting people to their IRL meetup. Enter gifts that encourage connection. So what kind of gifts could encourage connection? We've got adult BFF necklaces.
I love these ones. They're so cute. Would you ever wear one with me?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like I'm into necklaces right now. I like even like bead necklaces. A good friend of mine, Brad, he has a brand called Contra. He's making necklaces right now with some really like interesting kinds of stones and beads. But he also got custom, I don't know what the word is that it's made out of, but custom like gummy bear shaped charms, resin. Thank you, Drew. Made out of resin that he's going to put on necklaces and like keychains and stuff like that, which I think is really cool. And that kind of has like a BFF necklace kind of vibe to it. There's also beautiful chopping blocks, which we've been talking about getting a new cutting board. Is that what this is? A chopping block?
I'm not sure.
Yes.
Actually.
Morgan's nodding yes.
Yes.
So like us, you could be the envy of everyone at your cookbook club. Conversation cards, which is easy entertainment for the host with the most. I've totally done these before, but I'm blanking on what the popular one is called. And I don't know which one we linked, but go for a surprise and check it out. Tickets to bingo. We talked recently on an episode about how the kids are abandoning the club and going to bingo nights instead. So grab your nearest and dearest and enjoy the hottest game of the season. And then, of course, board games. I'm still not a board game guy. I can get down with a couple card games here and there. I just feel like they're faster, a little bit more interesting, whereas board games tend to kind of drag out and take the whole day or the whole night.
Yeah, we can't play board games. It's not good for our marriage.
Yeah. You take things personally when we play games. I'm just strictly business.
I mean, the audience was on my side when we talked about Monopoly Go.
Which audience?
People that they said that was so savage.
I don't think so. Show me receipts.
I will.
Take us to trend 4.
Okay, they want to feel something. This is for the person whose dopamine receptors are fried from doom scrolling. These gifts will help people feel like they're part of something exciting. They love having something to look forward to and a controlled dose of adrenaline. So a few gift suggestions for this category. Experiment in the kitchen. Try making something new Matheson style. We did like Maddie Matheson's latest cookbook, all about soups, salads, and sandwiches.
And he
So
even
check
has his
it
own
out.
sauces and salad dressings and all that kind of good stuff.
Totally. Tickets to a local women's sports team. We also linked, this is another client plug, one of our clients who is just starting a women's soccer sports team in Calgary is coming, but there's also a new women's soccer sports league in Canada. So that would be a great gift for someone who's looking for something like that. Improv tickets, and those are always fun because it's never predictable.
We really need to go to a stand-up comedy show, like a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Personalized jerseys for the new, old, or die-hard fan. That would be a perfect gift for me, to be honest. And what team? Who knows?
Yeah. I feel like it doesn't even have to be a like customized new jersey. It could even be cool to like thrift a jersey from a team and then like add something custom to it.
Yeah. The coolest pickleball paddles. We have some really cool ones in there. Pickleball is having a moment. And there's some really cool paddles in there as well. So go check it out.
All right. And then trend 5, last but not least, they want guaranteed value. This person wants their values to align with what they buy, whether that's literal value, quality above all, or whether it reflects their care for people or the environment. They deserve something nice, whatever it is. So a few of the things on this list, I think Mitzi would love this one. Fancy olive oil. Well, I think we usually buy fancy olive oil anyway, just because we are trying to get like really healthy ingredients. Wild caught salmon, grass-fed beef, and fancy olive oil.
I did notice that my cow idea wasn't in this category, but
The biggest mistake you made was giving him a name. We just couldn't come back from that. You can make a thrift package. I love this idea. So shop for gently used items and make a completely customized gift or personalized gift for a friend that you know well or a family member. Pheromone perfume. I was kind of surprised to see this slide in here. A little bit PG, but perform that's guaranteed to create intrigue. That's one way to put it. Masterclass subscription. We actually have had a masterclass subscription for a long time at Arcade, and the content in there is so good. And you can find something on almost any topic by like one of the best people in the industry or in that specific creative lane.
I also love that you can gift a class. So if there's like a specific interest that someone on your list has, like say it's like cooking or health or whatever, there's like experts in all those categories. You can gift them a class. I remember one year you gifted me Anna Winter's class, which is a really thoughtful gift.
Yeah, and then the last one here is upcycled bags, all the quality of Coach with a sustainable element. Is Coach known for their quality?
Yeah, and they are upcycling like their materials, which is cool because
nice.
it's a brand that's been around for like over 100 years. And so they like stand behind their leather and they're like using it to remake other bags. It's really cool.
I like that. You mentioned a couple of things that are on your list right now, including the red light mask. Is there anything else on your list for this season?
Yeah, I really want a red light comb.
Wow, not just the
for
mask.
for your hair. Yeah, like for your scalp. I actually also want like a really nice brush. I've literally had my brush for like 20 years, but like I want like a really high quality. They're expensive, but I guess you can
Like a
keep
couple
it for,
$100?
Yeah, for like 20 years.
Yeah.
A cutting board, like a new one. It's on my list as well. I also want a stand mixer. There's a lot.
Yeah, I just wonder where that's going to go, but
I know,
you
we've
would use it
talked
a
about
lot. I think you're in
What about
your
you?
cooking and baking era. Yeah, I think a new cologne would be cool, and that's the kind of thing that I typically just procrastinate from spending money on. And I think that's the kind of perfect gift for you to get me
A
because
pheromone cologne.
doesn't have to be pheromone. You already want me anyway. But
Settle.
but I think if it's something that is a smell that you like, then that's a win. You know, then I'm not doing the guesswork when I'm shopping at the counter.
Sure.
So there's that. I'm trying to remember what else I've said to you that I want. A couple times I've gotten some nice knives, which I think I could keep going with that collection. We could use a new bread knife. I often like to shop around on like Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales on some higher end like fashion brands that I like, and then find sales and then drop some links to the family so that they can get me something I want that's typically expensive, but it's on sale, so it's more approachable.
I also want a nice apron.
Oh, I asked you for some like good skincare products for men too. Yeah. Yeah, you need a nice apron. Anything for this like baking mode that you're in. Just because like,
Anything?
yeah, because I think still a lot of the stuff that we have in the kitchen, because neither of us have really cared that much about cooking. We do cook, but we have a lot of like repeat kind of
Easy
menu
meals,
items.
yeah.
And because neither of us have ever been that passionate about it, we still have a lot of stuff from like either before we were married or when we got married. Some of it's from like Walmart, you know, some of it is just like functional, but not the highest quality. Like one of our cutting boards that we got from our wedding, like 6 months ago, just split down the middle, and that was that, you know? So I think now that that's something that you actually really enjoy as a hobby, then it makes sense for us to invest in stuff that's quality that'll last a long time.
Totally, yeah.
But it's fun.
Yeah, and this is the season. So if you want to go check out the gift guide, I highly recommend you go look at it. It's available on Substack. We'll make sure the link is in our description, and be sure to sign up and subscribe to Substack and get an email from us every 2 times a month. And you'll get signals that we're watching that relate to digital marketing, and I'm sure you'll love it.
And we've got another trend report coming very soon for 2025, so you don't want to miss that. Take that into
Definitely.
any marketing meeting, whether you work on the brand side or the agency side, and you're going to look good.
Awesome.
Okay, well, that's that. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Check us out on Instagram. I also saw Big Things Podcast on TikTok just followed me. Are we going to be posting on TikTok soon?
We will be.
All right, check it out on TikTok. Be one of the first. And make sure you have a good weekend.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add?
No, but the gong is out of reach.
I was wondering.
I better
Bye.
grab it.
Quick,
Just give me a
go.
sec. No.
Bye. Can't believe you almost forgot it. I was wondering.
We made it. That's
I
a
was
wrap.
just watching you. If you
Really?
remember, yeah.
Oh, man. Forgot the iPads today. Didn't have the gong on me.
I know, we're all over the place.
It's Friday.